is only war.
What is up, gents? 40k Dirtbags here. We got game 2 of the RTT that we just recently won. This is the list that we are currently around 12-0 with, so we're really testing it out for LVO coming up in January. So if you guys are at LVO, definitely come up and say hi. I have some limited edition Dirtbag dice I can give out to you guys if you guys are Dirtbags. But if you guys are new to the channel and you want to obviously just like 40k content, hit the subscribe, like, do all the YouTube shit. All my Patreons, appreciate you guys. Wouldn't be doing this without you. And this is going to be game 2. If you guys haven't seen game 1 yet, it's going to be in the description below, as well as the list that we're using. The list, a quick rundown, is 3 Accursed Cultists, Abaddon, Legionnaires, Seekers, Bikes, 2 Forge Fiends, and some Cultists. Normal Cultists, we have a bunch of Nurglings in there as well, and Sile. So Sile is in the list we're testing out to see if she is actually worth it to bring to LVO. So this is going to be, again, game 2. First game was against Thousand Suns. Game 2 is also against Thousand Suns. Another really good player in the meta. His name's Jesse. So we're going to go over picture by picture what we did good, what we should have done better to kind of get you guys better at this list and 40k in general. But we're going to dive right into it. Like I said, the list is in the description below if you want to take a moment. We also go over the list more in detail in the first one. So again, that'll be in the description below. So let's get into the pictures that we have for this game. So I took a bunch of them just so I can go over kind of more in detail, but this is the map. If you guys haven't seen the first mission or game, go check that out. But this is the terrain setup at Alternate Universes in Bluebell, Pennsylvania. We played the Dawn of War, or the really long table edge deployment, so we're about 18 inches from the sides here. And then this one was super fun. I've never played this mission before, but basically you get to make objective markers anywhere in no man's land, like exactly away from 9 inches of another objective marker. So every single turn you're able to make an objective marker, which is just crazy, especially with the list that we have here. But it was super fun to play. The list that he brought was a little bit different because he originally had 3 of the magical Thousand Suns beasts, but they were all 3D printed and they weren't to size comparison. So we weren't able to, or he wasn't able to use those beasts in the game. So we kind of had to switch up the list at the last minute. They were, I guess, the right height, but the width, the bodies were like super skinny. So the width was completely off. So last minute you weren't able to use the beasts. So he switched it up. So this isn't his optimal list. But playing T-Suns for the first time last game, we kind of knew what to look out for. Magnus is just a complete fucking asshole. He's really hard to deal with. But like I said, we got Cultists here, unit of pinks, unit of bolter guys. I don't think they're the flamers. They're just regular bolters with the leader in there. He brought obviously Magnus, and then he also brought a demon prince of Zinch, who has an enhancement where he can go back in reserves, kind of like teleport assault at the end of my movement phase, and then he can deep strike them in. He has a unit of 10 Terminators and a unit of 5 Terminators. So these guys were starting in deep strike, and that was basically his list. So for us, he deployed kind of cousted up on this side. We deployed pretty much like we've been deploying, which Nurgling is right in the middle in case they need to be shot at, so you can spend 1 CP so they don't get shot at. We have Seekers at the top here because they're our pregame move unit, and they honestly are probably going to be in every single chaos list that I do here on out. They're just so good for the points. They get us turn 1 secondaries so many times, and they're just annoying to deal with. So they did really well in the first game. Hopefully they do well in this game again. We got unit of bikes in the back there. We have a Forge Fiend starting in the back here. If I got turn 1, God, I would have probably just blew up his Demon Prince, because Demon Prince was right on the other side here, and I had line of sight straight down this line to move up 8 inches and then shoot the Demon Prince. So that would have been insane. We had Cultists down here, the Abaddon with his Legionnaires kind of spread out. They're all on the bottom floor. I know I put it on the top, but it's easier for the opponent to see if they're up top. And then we have a red unit right here. So the Nurglings, I believe, started on the other side of here in case I needed to get engaged in all fronts. And the other Nurglings were on the other side of this building right here. And then the other ones are in deep strike. So this is our deployment kind of behind the scenes. Pretty simple. All right, so he gets turn 1. Like I said, if I had turn 1, we would have threw the fucking fiends forward like we did last time and then just shoot the demon prince. But he gets no prisoners and aerial denial. So he has to either try and kill shit and get people in the center, which I think both aspects he just doesn't do on turn 1, just because he can't really get anybody anywhere. He doesn't want to give up his whole pink unit turn 1, and it would have been an easy charge target for our accursed cultist down here. So the fiends moved up, not fiends, sorry, seekers moved up on the other side of this wall there, so they can't be shot because they had the pregame move 9. And then basically he moves up, makes an objective right under this entire blob of dudes. But basically everybody moves up and just waits a turn. The demon prince moves back here. Once he saw that I can shoot him turn 1. And then these guys kind of spread out to block the charges from the seekers. So he puts his pinks in front of his entire army, which is smart, because they're just so annoying to deal with. So for us, we get engaged in all fronts and deploy teleport homers. So now this is funny because I actually read this as investigate signals. So in my mind, I'm like, all right, I'll get investigate here, here, and potentially over there. But I was completely wrong. I had deployed teleport homers and I did not plan for this. I kind of just in my head read it wrong and engaged in all fronts. So messed up turn 1. He got no prisoners and extend battle lines. So for our investigate signals, I think we did it for this one right here. Yeah, so I think we did that turn 1. No, I just checked and we did not do it turn 1. So I wasn't able to get somebody within 6 inches of the center to do investigate signals. But we did get engaged on all fronts. So what we did was we moved our seekers up over here. We did the same thing as we did last time against T-Suns, as we charged and just to tie up the unit. So we charged in, got engaged on all fronts on this side of the table. So we had one over there, and obviously any unit down here would have got us engaged. So we got 3 points turn 1 for engage, and they're basically just tying up everybody. So they have a unit of pinks tied up. They have the unit of other dudes. I just kind of blocked them in. I didn't get them in combat because they probably would have killed me with Ahriman. So I just kind of blocked them in, waiting for hopefully these guys to come in on turn 2. So his turn, he gets defend stronghold, deploy teleport homer. No prisoners extend. So I think he kept no prisoners and he got rid of the other one and got extend battle lines for his turn 2. So all he has to do is control one of the objectives here and then one of the objectives over there, or literally any one of these that he put down in no man's land. Our first objective, I think we put under our cursed cultist down here. That's what they did turn 1 instead of doing deploy teleport homers. So Magnus moves up. He basically gets just a ton of shots on the red units to try and help these guys. These guys came in turn 2. And just try to fucking blow up my cursed cultist unit. Now everybody over here has a 4-up invuln save because of Abaddon, so they're all tied out within 6 inches. So 6 inches, 6 inches, 6 inches. So everything over here is a 4-up invuln save. So we're literally just trying to make as many 4-up, 6-ups as we possibly can. The seekers usually always die on turn 2 because they do their job by just moving forward, getting us a secondary, and then dying, but they're tying up the enemy opponent. So that's what he does. He moves everybody up, and then on his turn 2, I rapid ingress, like I always do, this yellow unit of a cursed cultist at the top here. So they're just going to be super annoying to come in and kill all of the Marines like they did in the last game. So they just kind of come in, wait. He's probably not going to shoot at them, because if he does shoot at them and he kills one, I get to make a dude, which makes my charge even easier. But these guys coming in rapid ingress turn 2 is just super scary to deal with. Like, they just do so much damage. It's really hard to counteract that turn 2. You really just have to kind of sacrifice a unit to block somebody off so they can't come in. I didn't want to come in over here, because if I would have brought him over here, he probably would have shot them instead, which they wouldn't have had a 4-up invuln save. So he brought his termies down over here. If he would have brought his termies down up here, I would have done the yellow guys down here instead. So wherever the less threat is, but you want to take over a side, that's really what they're coming in as. So Forge Fiend moves up, doesn't really have a lot of shooting going on. We made this one sticky turn 1. So again, his turn, he basically just shoots as much as he can into the Seekers, which kills the Seekers, and then he puts as much as he can into this this red squad over here. So he also forgets to make a objective, which that was one of his things that he was kind of kicking himself in the butt, because every single turn you should potentially make an objective to try and keep as many objectives on your side of the table as possible. And he had enough units to do it. He had a unit of cultists just kind of right there. They didn't really move anywhere, so they could have moved over here potentially and made a objective. So he didn't make an objective turn 2. We get deploy teleport homer and defend stronghold. So obviously, I don't think he's going to be able to take that stronghold in the back there, so that should be good. We move up everybody trying to like block out deep strikes again, and then we make an objective over here for our second turn. Nurglings kind of ran around to get up to here. The bikes came in over here to get a ton of shots onto the Marines that were on the other side of this wall here. And I think I killed 2 of them. So I think I rolled 2 1s for hazardous with the plasma. So 2 of these dudes died. The other Forge Fiend walked in over here. So that way he can get line of sight to the Demon Prince. So I think you want to line of sight to the Demon Prince to try and kill the Demon Prince. The other Forge Fiend got line of sight to Magnus in case I needed to kill Magnus. Abaddon came out to play because Magnus is now in the center of the table and he's on an objective. So Abaddon with Legionnaires, he gets full rerolls to wound when the opponent is on an objective. So that's the really good combo that you have with him. We commit the green guys, so they basically do their advance and charge, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. We make the mistake by charging into the pinks as well, which I would, after playing this game, probably never touch the pinks ever again unless I go full force everything into them. In this case, we had Magnus right next to him, so I should have just went everything into Magnus instead of the other thing. What was funny about the yellow squad is when they moved up and charged the Marines, I think I did like, I don't know, 18 wounds went through, and he's starting to put 2 wounds per guy. I was like, oh man, I'm sorry, they're 2 damage each. He's like, fuck. So 18 basically dead Marines just from the unit over there. I think we spent 1 CP for the full rerolls to hit and wound as well. So they're instantly killing a unit of Marines pretty constantly once they're on the table. So we kill all the Marines and Ahriman. He has got 2 units of pinks left with a shit ton of blues and yellows popping out, which are just so crazy, so annoying. And then Magnus eventually dies, I think, to the wound after ignoring a damage, re-rolling, and then spending a strat or whatever to re-roll one of the failed saves. So all that kind of had to go through, and we finally kill Magnus with Abaddon and a couple of the big guys in the center of the table. And then we run away from this 10-man brick. So they came down, they're speed 5. I just have to stay away from them because they're not really near anything on this side of the table. So they came down, they can't walk up, make an objective because you have to be 9 inches away from another objective. They can't steal an objective because there's no objectives by them. And they can't charge anything because my red guys basically got put in timeout and they ran away. So this is on his side of the table. We killed all of the Marines with the bikes and the guys charging in, and then we pile it into the blues or pinks on this side. But I'm trying to see where the red guys are. All right, so the red guys, basically this building back here, they ran back. So I think there was like 2 big guys and like maybe 2 little guys left after all of that shooting and then all of Magnus's blast and psychic shots. So they were basically just running back and just making dudes to kind of come back into the fray after turn 2 or 3. The other Nurglings are back here in the corner. They're just kind of blocking out the backfield, and then we have the Nurglings in the center, which I forgot about the -1 to hit. All right, so that was basically my turn. We deep struck Sile in the back here in case we needed him to do I think he did deploy on that side. So he came down here on my turn 2 to deploy teleport homers in the enemy's deployment zone, and we obviously controlled our backfield. So after Magnus was dead, it was basically just kind of be super annoying and just tie up the flank or the middle of the board, try and stop primary as much as possible. Demon Prince is still alive, I believe, on 3 wounds. He gets Assassinate, which the Demon Prince can easily do. All you have to do is spend 1 CP for precision and kill our character in our Cursed Cultist unit, and then behind enemy lines. So behind enemy lines, he actually lucked out and there was room for him to deep strike his Terminators right back here in the corner. But this is the board state after he gets those 2 secondaries. He then brings in his Terminators originally over there, but he wanted them closer to the objective, so he was able to fit them right here against this line. So they're able to kind of come down, shoot, and then try and make a charge onto the Forge Fiend. So that's where they landed. And then he moves up his Demon Prince on the other side of these Accursed Cultists, so that way he can charge in and just, again, kill the Accursed Cultist leader for Assassinate, because he's probably not going to kill Abaddon. He doesn't want to really get anywhere near Abaddon. And the only Accursed Cultist that he could see, the other one is on the other side of the wall here. So he's not getting that one. And the other one is kind of like right in front of him over here. So you have to be able to see to use the precision. So since he can't see this dude, he can't kill that guy. So he has to go after the yellow squad, which they already used their once per game advance and charge, +1 to hit, +1 to wound. So if the demigod thing dies, I really don't care. I mean, it gets him assassinated, but I can't stop it. So his Terminators moved up, and they actually make the charge onto Abaddon's unit, but he can't really get a lot into him. So he gets 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 guys into Abaddon's unit. And then all the blues are just, again, keep popping out. They don't die. I mean, they die, but then they just keep popping out on a 3 or 4 plus. They just keep happening. And that was basically the fight in the center, just a slap fest. After here, we advance. Look at all the red guys we got back. So I basically killed all the little guys first. We kept as many big guys as we possibly can, and then we just kept making, I think after 3 or 4, I think 2 command phases, which is 4 dudes, we brought basically 4 big guys back. And then they did their once per game advance and charge to move up. And then I failed this like 6 or 7 inch charge. So I wasted the advance and charge this turn and the +1 to hit, +1 to wound. So they're basically just sitting in the backfield waiting for the Terminators to move up and get into combat. So hopefully I was charging and killing that squad with the +1 to hit, +1 to wound. And I would have spent 1 CPU for the full rerolls hit and wound. So we failed that charge. Terminators are still alive. This Forge Fiend's on 6. This Forge Fiend didn't take anything. We put another objective down right here, so you can see we made 3 objectives so far, and there's still 1 in the center. And then he only made 1 so far. So basically, we're just kind of controlling the primary as much as possible. Syle's starting to move up to do something in the back. I mean, she's really here just to do secondaries. And then these guys are dead. And that was my turn. So this was the fucking failed charge that we had. Look how many guys we have back. So we have one Dark Commune, the leader, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 big guys, and then 3, 6 little guys. And 1 guy has 1 wound. So that failed their charge. And then he gets Storm Hostile Objective and a Tempting Target. So I have to pick a target in No Man's Land for him to try and get, which he probably will never get. I then spent a CP to get Defend Stronghold instead. So again, he's probably not going to get that as well. But Storm Hostile Objective, he's basically trying to take over one of these objectives, which he gets. So he moves up, shoots the Forge Fiend, and then charges the Forge Fiend, kills the Forge Fiend, and then he takes over this objective, which he gets Storm Hostile Objective, which is awesome for him. And then we basically bring, again, more dudes back from our red squad. They scooch up, just take over the objective. The yellow squad spreads out, takes over these 2 objectives. The green squad is just stuck in combat forever with this fucking pinks that just don't die. And we basically string out to get 1, 2, 3 objectives. Abaddon's just chilling in the center. He kind of did his job by killing Magnus. And he killed the Terminators as well. Bike came back in over here just to kind of in case we need a secondary. Sile ran up into this corner in case we need a secondary. So we're basically setting up secondaries in case we draw those secondaries. And then finally, this was some roll. I think this was Explodes or something on the Forge Fiend, which we got like 5, 10, 11, 12 shots out of 5, I think we started with. Yeah, it was just like this guy shot and basically killed all of the Terminators by himself with Nergal. So that was just super brutal. We get Aerial Denial and then Capture Enemy Outposts, which again, we got pretty easily. And then Aerial Denial, we just needed to put somebody in the center, which we had. So this is the final score. Hopefully I didn't go too fast for you guys, but it was kind of like after Magnus died, it was mainly just kind of spreading out and going for secondaries instead of trying to kill the opponent, because all he had left was the 5-man Terminators, a bunch of pinks that just don't die, and I think that was it. So really, I could have ignored the Terminators, but Terminators ran into Abaddon, so Abaddon had to kill him, and then the other Terminators took over my one objective, which didn't matter. I just needed to spread out to control the rest of the objectives. So for primary, T-Sons, Jesse got 5, 5, 5, 5, which got him 20. And then for secondaries, he got 8 on turn 1, which is great turn 1, 7 on turn 2, 8 on turn 3, and 5. So he actually was, I'm sorry, that's not an 8, that's a 0. 0, 0, so we got 0 turn 1. 7 turn 2, 8 turn 3, and then 5 turn 4. Which wound up with 20. So we had 20 and 20, which gave us a 40 for the primary. We don't do paint until the very end of the tournament. And then for us, we had 5 turn 1, we had 15 turn 2, 10 turn 3, and then 15 turn 4. So we actually kind of stopped ourselves from getting a perfect score for primary, just because he took over that one objective, and our Nurglings are op 6-0, so they couldn't control an objective. But we finished up with 45 for primary. And then for the secondaries, we had 3 turn 1. Again, I put 4 because I thought I had investigate signals. I was like, all right, investigate. And he's like, you don't have that. I was like, fuck, my bad. So we went back and I put myself at 0. And then we got defend stronghold for 3 and 5, 5 and 5 for 10, 5 and 8 for 13. That was a big one. That was capture enemy outpost. And then 5 and 5 for 10. So we had 40 max for primary or secondary. So we ended up with 85 out of 90 for the score. So that was basically the end of, and this is the next game, Space Wolves. Can't wait to talk about this one. But that was the end of the game. The board state was basically this. The Terminators are dead. The pink horrors, he only has that unit left on the table, and we basically have almost every corner of the table. By the end of the game, the only dead guys were really the Dark Commune. So I think he killed like 2 or 3 Dark Commune here. He killed the character in this one. And then there was like 3 Dark Commune dead over here. But at the end of the game, all the Chris cultists were back on the table, because every command phase you could bring 3 little guys back or 1 big guy back. So to go for secondaries and objective stealing, you bring the little guys back. To go for Killy and getting the charge off, you bring the 1 big guy back and put him up front, so that way he can do a lot of damage when he makes that charge. So that would be what you're bringing back every single turn. Now, if you only have 1 guy dead, obviously you're just going to bring back the 1 guy. But if you have the choice between 3 little guys and 1 big guy, bring the 3 little guys back, because they could soak up more shots, especially with a 4-up invuln save, than the 1 big guy that they might shoot like 1 big shot into him and then he has to die. So that would be my suggestion for the Chris cultists. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this battle report. This is game 2 of game 3. We did go 3-0 in this tournament, but this list makes me want to play Space Wolves. I was super impressed with it. This guy plays all the time in Palladium, so he came over to AU, which is awesome, and he plays Custodes. And now I know that he has Space Wolves as well, but he ran this first time, I think, running it, and he fucking makes it to top table. So I can't wait to talk about this game. So hopefully you guys enjoy it. Leave in the comments below. Check out the list if you guys are curious. Head over to Patreon if you guys want to get in the competitive scene of 40k, as well as support us on the channel so more videos like this come out. We are picking up dice again at the end of November, early December, and then January we're going to place another order for a shit ton of dice. I'm heading out to LVO, so if you guys want to come up and say hi to me at LVO, as well as I'm getting married next week. So by the time you watch this video, I probably am on my way to either getting married or my honeymoon, which I'll be back at the middle of November. But we're going to have a bunch of videos posted up for you guys, so you guys don't miss any content, because you guys are awesome. But appreciate it, guys. Good luck, and we'll see you in the third part of this video against Space Wolves. What's up, my Patreon? So thank you so much for supporting the channel. If you guys are new here, there's so much content coming up on Patreon. We're going to continue to grow the channel. We got other dirtbags joining the channel to make a huge camaraderie dirtbag nation for you guys up on the Patreon. We have other factions joining the dirtbags as well. It's not just going to be specifically 4 factions that we play all the time. We are really good at those 4 factions, but we have other really good players joining the dirtbags, and we really want to grow the channel as much as possible. And it really is all thanks to the support from you guys donating, getting competitive dirtbags, the grandmasters. All of you guys are just, thank you so much. This video is really just made to give thanks to you guys who are either joining as you're watching this video, or have joined over the past couple months You guys have seen me live at tournaments and GTs, and even have flown out and met me, Cooper, to basically just hang out with us all weekend. So thank you so much, guys. I really appreciate it. More is going to grow from the channel in 2024, and I just can't wait to grow the Dirtbag Nation as much as we possibly can. So again, thank you so much, and appreciate you joining the Dirtbag Nation.